On April 27th, we're going to have an emotionally intense new supermoon in sensual, earthy, beauty-loving Taurus. This will perhaps be the most intense new moon of 2025. Why? Because there is a tense aspect between the new moon and Mars opposing Pluto, the two heavy hitters of the zodiac, which can be quite a volatile energy. So in this video, my friend, I want to share with you how can we navigate with the most ease and grace the potential challenges of this new moon, and how can we bring out the higher expression, the higher octave of this new moon. I'll also be sharing with you who will feel this new moon most intensely, most personally, based on the planets and points in your natal astrology chart. And in part 2, I will be doing readings for all 12 signs based on your rising sign and pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. But before I dive in, I want to say hello and welcome if you have just found the channel. I am thrilled that you have found us. This is a like-minded community. So if you would like to find your tribe, be sure and subscribe so you don't miss a video. And a warm welcome to those of you who have subscribed to the channel. I am so happy to have you in our community. If you've been enjoying the videos and you haven't yet subscribed, please take a moment right now to tap that subscribe button. For all YouTube astrologers, your subscribes make a huge difference and they allow us to continue to offer this free content. I'm Betsy Gutting. I am a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. I am a full-time professional astrologer, so if you would like to know more about my offerings, I will share more about my astrology readings and coaching at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. I also have a free gift for you. I'll tell you how you can get your free gift at the end. And if you'd like to get my free inspirational astrology updates, I write about the astrology between videos weekly. If you'd like to get those updates, go to my website, subscribe for free, and you will get my free instant download gift right away. This Taurus new moon, like all new moons, will begin a brand new manifestational cycle. What do I mean by that? I mean, this is the time that we are invited to set an intention for what our heart most wants. We tend to feel new moons a few days before they actually occur. That will definitely be the case for this one, and I'll tell you why when I get to the aspects. And we often feel the new moon for several days or even up to a week afterward as that new moon begins to build toward the full moon that occurs 2 weeks later. Now, during every new moon, the sun and the moon are together in the same sign, but we can't see the moon. That's why we call it a dark moon. And because it's a dark moon, we can feel a little bit blue during that time. We have a tendency to pull inward, to be more internal, to reflect. What we're reflecting on is often connected to the themes of the sign in which the new moon is happening. And in this case, it is Taurus, and Taurus is focused on material security. In Taurus energy, we want the good life, whatever the good life is for you, my friend. We all have our own definition. But Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is everything that you love, everything that you value, what is most important to you at this point in your life. We associate Venus with beauty, love, relationships, money, financial freedom, pleasure, the comforts of life. And often it's the things, the situations, the people, the beauty that we create around us, whatever makes us feel more secure, whatever makes us feel more safe, rooted, grounded, and loved. This often comes up in Taurus energy. Taurus is also connected to our earned income, to self-love, self-worth, the degree to which we feel that we deserve what we most desire. And in its highest octave, Taurus energy is abundance, it's fertility, it's knowing in every cell of your body that you deserve what your heart most wants. Taurus is also known as a master manifester, a builder, a methodical, one foot in front of the other, persistent, resilient, stubborn even, propensity to create solid, sustainable, long-lasting success. Most of you know Taurus energy is associated with the bull. And so you can look in your own natal astrology chart, and of course I will be sharing this with you in the 12 sign readings. Where do you have Taurus in your natal chart? This is where you might be more tenacious, more steadfast, more willing to show up day in and day out and build security in that area of your life. But don't forget, Taurus is also the sensual pleasures of life. It's our ability to savor and appreciate the goodness, good food, when you're feeling good in your body, getting a massage, the lovely scent of a flower. This is also Taurus energy. Now, I mentioned money and finances. The financial markets are tied to Taurus energy. Taurus is associated with our food supply, with our weather patterns. And because Taurus helps us to ground in our desires and manifest what our hearts most want, this is a good time during this new moon to go inward, to visualize, sense, and imagine what you most desire, to put your roots. See yourself as a tree, perhaps an old growth tree. Put your roots deep down into the center of the earth. Feel yourself pulling up that Mother Earth energy and pulling down that spiritual energy, so that you can embody that feeling of all my needs are met and then some. As you actively work with the support of Mother Earth and the divine realms to bring your creation into reality. And the affirmation that came up for me as potent during this new moon is, I am supported. I am deeply nourished, I am fully supported, and all of my needs are met and then some. Now, who will most feel this new moon in Taurus? It is happening at 7 degrees, close to 8 degrees of Taurus. So if you have planets or points between 2 and 13 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you will feel this new moon most intensely, most personally. I'm giving it a wider orb because of the Mars-Pluto opposition happening in the lower degrees. And even if you don't have planets or points between 2 or 13 degrees of any of the fixed signs, you do have 7 to 8 degrees of Taurus somewhere in your natal astrology chart. This is what I will be going into when I get into the 12 sign readings. And you may very much feel the themes of this new moon playing out in your own life. Not only this, but especially because this new moon is making a square to the Mars-Pluto opposition, we are all going to be feeling this new moon on a collective level. Just as we did the other 2 times that Mars and Pluto opposed each other since November of last year, which I'm going to touch on in a moment. So let's talk about it. The aspect that we will all feel most palpably during this Taurus new moon is the sun and the moon together in Taurus, making what we call a T-square to Mars in Leo, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. This is one of the most intense planetary conversations that we could have during a new moon. Why? Because Mars and Pluto opposite each other. These are the planets that can take us into fight or flight or freeze. We can easily be emotionally triggered, fear-based emotions. Mars in its lowest octave is the fighter, and Pluto is just as much of a warrior as Mars is. Some astrologers call Pluto the wrecking ball. I call Pluto the great detoxifier. Why? Because Pluto shows us when there is something, a situation, a person, a fear that we have within ourselves that is toxic for us. And because Pluto rules our unconscious, we're usually not aware of it until the transit happens. So because Mars, the warrior planet, is opposing Pluto, which is all about power and control, we often feel this in a relationship. It plays out as a power struggle. It plays out as a conflict in which we feel powerless often. We feel like someone else is pulling the strings, or it could feel like a tightness. You could feel like you're at a crossroads, but you're between a rock and a hard place, as we say. And usually this is because we're trying to hold on to control. We don't see that there are other options. We're trying to keep what we have in place. And so there's this tug of war kind of dynamic going on. That's the lower expression, but there is a higher expression as well, which I'm going to get to in a moment. First, I want to share, this is the 3rd and final Mars-Pluto opposition happening between November of 2024 and the end of April 2025. The first one happened in early November when Mars in Cancer at 29 degrees opposed Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. This happened right around the US election, and we experienced intense division. Some of us also experienced shocks. That's an indication of Pluto. Pluto has a tendency to shock. It can also put us into the throes of what we call a karmic situation. The second Mars-Pluto opposition happened in January of 2025, at the very beginning of January. It was exact on January 3rd, and that was when Mars in Leo opposed Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree. Mars was retrograde at that time, which heightened the sense of karma being cleared. And now this third opposition, which will be exact the day before this new moon on April 26th, but of course we will also very much feel it April 27th, the day of the new moon. Mars will be in Leo at 3 degrees and Pluto in Aquarius at 3 degrees. During the new moon, they will be 1 degree apart. Still very intense. And again, this new moon will be squaring that opposition, which makes it feel that much tighter, which makes us often feel like I've got to figure out this situation. I have to make a decision. I have to speak up. I have to take action. Squares put us into action. But because this is the third and final opposition, consider that we have already learned quite a bit from the past two Mars-Pluto oppositions. Consider that we have grown, that we have flexed our muscle of setting boundaries, advocating for ourselves, having our own backs, reclaiming our power, all the things that we want to do in response to a Mars-Pluto opposition. If we are personally involved in a dynamic in which we feel powerless, we have already been working on strengthening these muscles. Therefore, this particular opposition could play out differently than the other two have played out for you personally and for all of us collectively. Not only this, as I alluded to earlier, there is a higher octave, a higher expression of Mars opposing Pluto. Mars in Leo can be driven, passionate, spontaneous, joyful, childlike. After all, Leo is connected to the 5th house of the zodiac, passionate romance, children, creativity. Leo is also the king or the queen of the jungle, leadership energy. You could be ignited by a goal or a vision and feel unstoppable. You could feel very strongly focused on something specific that you have to get done. And Pluto energy across from Mars, Pluto can be either you are feeling pushed by pain or you are being pulled forward by a vision. So your inner Mars could be lit up with spark, with delight, with excitement, feeling quite driven to get to your Pluto passionate, sometimes obsessive even, desire, heart's desire. And I will tell you that this is what I personally experienced during the January Mars-Pluto opposition. I was actually packing up all of my things. I was filling my car with things for the winter as I was getting ready to drive down south from the Seattle area down to Laguna Beach, California, where I have been for the winter. And I was literally driven. I was driven by my goal to get to the sun because I grew up in California. I need sun. I was very excited by this new adventure that I was about to have. That was my Mars and Pluto opposition. Now, interestingly as well, as I was driving through Los Angeles, the energy shift dramatically. You can't make this stuff up. I literally drove through Los Angeles the day that the LA fires broke out. I didn't know that that was happening at the time, but the winds were really kicking up. My check your tires light went on because the winds were that strong, and it registered as something faulty with my tires, which wasn't actually happening. But it took me 5 hours to get through LA that day. And my heart deeply, deeply goes out to anyone who experienced loss during the fires. I only bring this up as an example that you could potentially experience both the high and the lower octave of Mars-Pluto, because this is going on for all of us collectively, right? You could find yourself in the middle of a storm that, quote, has nothing to do with you, and yet it does, because we're all in this together. But if you do find yourself in a difficult situation during this new moon, squaring the Mars-Pluto opposition, a couple of tips are to remember that you do have the power to advocate for yourself, to have your own back. In almost every difficult Pluto dynamic, we will feel powerless in some way. We will have to accept what we can't control, But we can always control how we take care of our own feelings. We can always have our own back. We can always take care of our inner child. We can always reclaim our power. And so a few good questions to ask yourself if you find yourself in a Pluto-Mars dynamic. What do I need in this moment? What would make me feel safe and secure? What would self-love do here? Because big picture, what do the sun and moon in Taurus squaring off with Mars and Pluto want? What are they inviting us into? They're inviting us to let go of anything toxic. They are inviting us into self-reliance. They are reminding us and giving us an opportunity at times to practice standing up for ourselves and having our own back and getting the support that we need. Sometimes having our own back means that we get support so that we don't have to do it alone. And ultimately, we will always get further if we choose love over fear. Collectively, I would be very surprised if we didn't see continued volatility in the financial markets. I would be surprised if we don't see political division exacerbated and more shocking behavior from one or more leaders in power. Now, let's talk about how we can get support from other places during this new moon. The new moon ruler, the ruler of this new moon, is Venus. Venus is now direct in Pisces. During the new moon, we still have 3 planets and points in Pisces energy in the high degrees. We have Saturn, we have the North Node of Destiny, and we have Venus, and they are still all conjunct together in watery, emotional, boundaryless, deep diving Pisces. Pisces is connected to the ethereal realms. It is connected to endings, full circle moments, karmic completions. So you could still feel that you are between worlds, between timelines, as we say. During this new moon, you could feel exhausted. You could feel like you just want to rest. You could feel like you just want to retreat. That's Pisces energy, the 12th house. You could feel like there's a cycle ending in your life, and yet you also have this feeling, maybe it feels like you've got part of you is off and running and wanting to do something new, and then another part of you is still ending a cycle, still completing something. You could feel emotionally overwhelmed. You could feel like, I just can't take on anything else. There's too much going on. If that's the case, I encourage one step at a time, one thing at a time, one baby step, and only doing what you absolutely have to do. Now, this is very supportive, very supportive. Just 3 days after the new moon, 3 days later, on April 30th, Venus is going to re-enter Aries. She's going to leave Pisces and re-enter Aries, and she's going to meet up with Neptune, which is newly in Aries. They are going to meet up together. We're going to have a Venus-Neptune conjunction. They will be very close on the 30th, and on May 2nd, the conjunction will be exact. Why is this a big deal? Because Venus and Neptune are the 2 planets that represent love. Venus is human love. Neptune is divine love. Often when Venus conjuncts Neptune, it feels like a rebirth in one area of your life. It can feel like a new vision coming alive. It can feel like a heart's desire coming online, or it can be a potent time for new relationships. Meeting a soulmate, perhaps. That could be a close friend. That could be a lover. That could be a potential spouse. Venus and Neptune coming together, it's not just a relationship. It can be a new job. It can be a new career. It could be a new business. It could be breakthrough in your health. But to me, this is significant that Venus moving into Aries on April 30th, just 3 days after the new moon, meeting up with Neptune. I believe that the new moon squaring Mars and Pluto is preparing us, is saying anything toxic in your life, it's time to let it go, because just a few days later, Venus and Neptune are coming together, and that is an area of our lives where Aries is in your chart. That is an area where a rebirth wants to happen, my friend. And one other very supportive planetary conversation going on during this new moon, Uranus is in Taurus. It is co-present because it's in Taurus, and the new moon is in Taurus. Uranus and the new moon, Sun and the moon, are co-present. They are not close together. Uranus is at 26 degrees, but isn't this interesting? 26 degrees reduces to an 8. And 8 is the number of power, abundance, and material success, material security. 8 is very much attuned to Taurus energy. Uranus at 26 degrees is harmonizing during the new moon with Saturn, Venus, and the North Node of Destiny in Pisces. They're harmonizing, they're sextiling. Uranus is saying, think outside the box, get creative. There are solutions, solutions as I like to call them. There are potential tangible resources for you, opportunities. How do we access them? By tapping into the cosmic intelligence, Uranus, by opening up to epiphanies, aha moments, asking our angels, our spiritual guides, our higher self, spirit to guide us, but also remembering that if we get an invitation or we have an idea or something comes up that we weren't expecting, that's Uranus. Expect the unexpected. Don't expect it to be jolting or discombobulating because it's a sextile, but be open to something new coming in and saying yes to it if it feels guided, because Uranus is guiding us to the future. Uranus is like your future self guiding you forward. So where with a Pluto hard transit, we can feel like our options are closing out, Uranus is over here saying, don't depend on people that are not at the same frequency as you, that are not in alignment with you anymore, that are causing you distress or harm even. Don't look there. Turn your focus toward the new energies, people that are supportive, ideas that come out of the blue that light you up. Open up to new ways of seeing. You do have options. You always have options. Say no to what isn't respectful of you. Say no to what isn't honoring you, and open up to divine magic, because that will very possibly come through for you just as palpably during this new moon. Okay, my friend, let us do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your chart corresponding to the area of your life in which you will be experiencing this Taurus new moon. You can also listen to your sun and your moon signs for further themes and intuitive messages. And we will start with Taurus because beautiful Taurus, this is your new moon, and happy, happy birthday to all of you gorgeous Taurus people. I hope you have the most beautiful birthday. So Taurus, your new moon, wow, it's a powerhouse new moon. If you haven't watched the first part of this video, I highly encourage you to go back and watch that, because you are one of the ones who will be most affected by this new moon, especially if you have any planets or points around the 7 to 8 degrees where this new moon is happening, as I shared in part 1. That will be any of you with planets or points between 2 and 13 degrees of your sign or any of the other fixed signs. And you will experience this new moon, which is the beginning of a brand new manifestational cycle. This is a time to be setting intentions, to be planting seeds, as we say, for what your heart most wants going forward, Taurus. In the areas, the first house represents your identity. What do I mean when I say identity? It's the roles that you play, the titles you have in your work, in your personal life, what you call yourself, the relationships that you have with other people, also your appearance, your vitality. We often feel anything going on with our health in the first house. And a new moon in the first house is a time to think about, is there anything that you want to change that will make you feel more vital, that will make you feel more strong, that will make you feel more beautiful, handsome? You use the word that fits you best, but the first house is the beginning of a brand new chapter for you, Taurus, this year. And because this is a year in which so many planets are changing signs, you could feel like you really are heading into new territory, especially with Uranus leaving your sign. In July, Uranus will enter Gemini. Now it will go back into your sign for a short time before it enters Gemini for good in 2026. But still, Taurus, you have been through it with Uranus in your sign, and that is winding down now. So this really is a brand new, fresh start for you. And so when I see a new moon in the first house, I know that it could affect any area of your life, because it could be, it's an angle of your chart, and it could be making aspects depending on your natal chart and any planets or points in the other fixed signs. It could be making aspects to your career point, your home point, your relationship point. You get the idea. So Taurus, what do you want to manifest, to co-create with the divine in these areas that I just mentioned? Do you want a new role? Do you want a new relationship? Do you want to leave a relationship? Is there something that is ending for you in your life? Something could be ending in career, something could be ending in your home life. Something could be maybe you want to heal a relationship with a family member or with a significant other. Maybe you are reinventing yourself. You know, the first house, after all, it's the house of you. So we can reinvent ourselves on a lot of different levels, right, Taurus? The question is, what do you want for you? And is there anything that is ripe for a new beginning for you? Because this is a brand new beginning, your own new moon. So let us see what the cards have to say for you. And how can you best navigate the very difficult energies of Mars opposing Mars opposing Pluto and the new moon squaring it? That is what I speak about in part 1 of the video. So I will leave it at that for you to go back and watch that, because I go through that at length in part 1. Lots of great tips for you there. Okay, beautiful Taurus. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Your card is getting back to integrity. Well, you know what is so interesting about this is that Pluto is about integrity and Mars is opposing Pluto. And this card is a compass, an image of a compass. And what it is saying is, some of you may feel like you've lost your compass. Some of you may feel like, I don't know what I want. I don't know where I'm going. I feel lost. That's some of you. That's not all of you. Some of you, this card is saying, are ready to get back to integrity. It's a 35 that reduces to an 8. An 8 is about material security. An 8 is about success, whatever success is for you. 8 energy is very much akin to Taurus energy. What I love about this card is it reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune. It reminds me of the brightness of divine light. It reminds me of how we, just the image is this image not so gorgeous? Like, I look at this image and it doesn't tell me lost. The word says lost, but the image tells me, wow, it's like hitting the jackpot, metaphorically speaking. So some of you may feel like, I'm lit up, I'm on fire, I know where I'm going, I know my true north, I'm heading that way. And others may feel like, I'm lost. And this question is saying, if you do feel lost, it's because there's a road to integrity that you're on, and it's time to point how do we fall out of integrity? When we're not telling ourselves the truth, when we're not being fiercely honest with ourselves, when we are being codependent, when we are relying or depending on someone or something or a source of income or so forth, something like that, that isn't feeding us anymore, isn't in alignment with us anymore. And a lot of us do that with work, right? Or in relationships. We stay in things because they make us feel financially secure. So some of you, I think this is a message for some of you to really look inward and reflect on, am I relying on someone or something, a situation, a job, a person, just because it makes me feel safe and secure? And if so, what can I do to get back in integrity? Don't forget that the divine supports you. Don't forget that there are options you can't see when you're clinging to something that isn't good for you. That's when we can't see the options. That's when we don't see the support that's out there for us. But once we open up to other possibilities, Uranus making sextiles to all the Pisces planets during this new moon, that's the first part of this video, then we can open up to the light, to all of the richness of this card that wants to come in and help you and support you, beautiful Taurus. If anything I shared with you resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Okay, Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you are going to be experiencing this new moon in Taurus in your second house of material security, earned income, your values, your self-love, your sense of deserving, your sense of self-worth. This is the house in which we feel like all my needs are met or all my needs aren't met. It's a new moon there's some challenging aspects to it. I speak about this in part 1 of the video, the new moon squaring Mars and Pluto, which are opposing each other. So what does this mean, Aries? It means that you could find yourself in a power struggle. You could find yourself in a conflict. You could find yourself needing to stick up for yourself, needing to set boundaries, needing to say no to somebody. Or perhaps a well that you've been drinking from, metaphorically speaking, is drying up. That could happen too, because we've outgrown situations, many of us, that we are still in. And this new moon is saying, we can't stay in situations that don't honor us, that aren't respectful of us, that don't have our back. Now, that's one reading of this new moon for you, Aries. Another reading is you're ready and fired up to ask for a promotion, to increase your sense of well-being or wealth, whatever that is for you. You're ready to fight for what you most desire. Now, Aries, you're ruled by Mars, and Mars is opposing Pluto. So, it's Mars and Leo opposing Pluto, but because you're ruled by Mars, Aries, a Mars-Pluto opposition potentially could be easier for you if you are someone who knows how to constructively deal with frustration or anger. If you are someone who elegantly, I'll use the word elegantly knows how to advocate for themselves, in alignment with your integrity, then you could find that this is a very empowering new moon for you. Not all of us are going to end up in a power struggle during this new moon. I speak about my example of what happened during the last Mars-Pluto opposition in the beginning of this video. Some of us, though, may find ourselves in sort of a swirl of other people's energy or the collective energy. And that's when we're really being guided by the universe to, choose love over fear, to be the leader, so to speak, to be in Aries. You are a leader. You are a natural leader, to be the example, as we say, the example of love over fear. So Aries, the question is, on a very mundane level, do you deserve what you most desire? Are you ready to do what your heart wants to do in order to meet your needs for material well-being and then some? Is your life aligned with your values? Do you believe you can have what you want? Aries, let us see what the cards have to say for you. This is a new moon to set your intentions for how you want to feel in terms of your everyday needs being met. Aries, your card is Covenant, Sacred Contract. This card is so cool. First of all of the blue energy of in this card to me is throat chakra. It's sparkling. It reminds me of Aquarius energy in its highest octave. It reminds me of the cosmic intelligence. Uranus is making a beautiful aspect to all the Pisces energies during this new moon. You may be signing an agreement. You may be getting some sort of job or promotion, or starting a business partnership, or doing something in which you have to sign on the dotted line. This is a sacred contract. What does that mean? It means that you are making this contract with yourself to stay in integrity with your own soul, and you are most likely, whoever you are going into business with, or going to be working with as a coworker, as a supervisor, or going to be working with maybe as a business partner, whatever it is that you're doing, there is a sacred contract between you and that person or those people. It's all meant to be. It's something that your soul wanted to do before you even came here. Beautiful Aries. It's quite divinely orchestrated. And this also is further validated by the fact that during this new moon, we have Saturn, which is the ruler of solidifying long-term contracts, and Venus and the North Node of Destiny are all conjunct. They're all working together. So you could very well find yourself in a situation that feels sacred, meant to be, divinely guided, and that would be so lovely. Aries, if anything that I shared resonates with you and you'd like to share, let us know in the comments below. Pisces, hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, we still have several energies in your sign. How have you been doing with this? I know those of you who have planets or points in the very high degrees, I've worked with some of you in readings, and it's been challenging for some of you. But what I love is during this new moon, as I speak about in part 1 of this video, during this new moon, we have Saturn, Venus, and the North Node all together, Pisces. You could be letting go of a past chapter. You could be meeting new people that feel very karmic or fated to you. You could really feel like you're at a turning point right now, or that things are happening that feel meant to be karmic fated meetings and situations and things that make you feel like you're at the right place at the right time. And you could be feeling quite grateful and supported right now with all of this going on. Not only this, but the new moon in Taurus, the new moon itself is making a sextile to your energy, and sextiles are solutions, opportunities. They are the divine orchestrating. They're like right timing, things coming together, something tangible working out for you, something tangible, something beneficial, a blessing coming into your life. So lovely. Where is this happening? In what area of your life? It's happening in your third house. I call this the house of moving and shaking. Why? Because it's our local environment. It's all the things that we go out and do. It's the places that we work out. It's the people that we meet, the coffee dates. It is our neighbors, our neighborhood. It's also freelance work. If you do freelance work, if you have your own business, if you are a contractor, any of those things. It is your messaging. It's a lot of things. It's the messages that we put out into the world, because big picture, it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury rules things like short trips. Mercury rules our writing, blog writing, for example, websites. It rules meetup groups. But also we see this house as the house of relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, landlords, mortgage brokers, the people that we interact with on a daily basis. So yes, there are a lot of things that could happen for you in any of these areas during a new moon. You could be planting seeds, setting intentions around any of these things that I just spoke about. Because the third house includes relationships with siblings, landlords, aunts, uncles, or cousins, you could find yourself in a power struggle with one of these people. You could find yourself at having a last straw moment, or at a turning point, deciding whether the relationship will continue, if you are still in alignment with it, if it's on your soul's trajectory to continue. This is where we are meant to check in with ourselves and get clear, be fiercely honest with whether we are just, staying in something because it's feeding us in some way, but it's actually codependent. That could be part of what you navigate during this new moon. Or you could just be passionately excited about taking a short trip and being driven, as I was when we had our last Pluto-Mars opposition. That's when I got in my car and I drove from Olympia, Washington to Laguna Beach. So you could also just find yourself powering through something, doing something that feels kind of hard, but that you're passionately excited to do, and that gives you the energy to get through it. That's possible as well. Pisces, you could want a new device or a new car. Those things fall in this house as well. Let me pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. Keep in mind that a third house new moon is often very busy. Our mind is going a million miles an hour, or it's very social. There's a lot of communication often during a third house new moon. So you might want to pace yourself. You might want to pace yourself and not schedule in as much, because a lot will probably be going on. Pisces, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Pisces. Ooh, bold step forward, the farther gate. Wow. So this card is very encouraging. There's so much light in this card. It's a portal. Do you feel like you're going through a portal, Pisces? This is saying there's a gate that's a little bit further along, a little bit further out. Don't lose hope. It's asking you to take a bold step. This bold step could be one in which you are setting a boundary or you're cutting a tie. It could be one in which you are taking an adventure that feels a bit scary to you. You could be realizing you have to take a risk, but look at all the light. Look at all the light flooding in. This is saying that when you take that risk, when you take that bold step, when you gather the courage and confidence and say yes to your heart and do the thing you think you cannot do, Eleanor Roosevelt, when you do this, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded with so much divine support. Beautiful Pisces. Let me know in the comments below if this resonates. If you care to share, I would love to hear. Aquarius, Aquarius. Beautiful Aquarius, you are going to experience this new moon in Taurus in your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, your roots, your desire to feel a strong sense of belonging wherever you are. So this could be very up for you during this new moon, especially if you have planets or points near this 3 to 4 degree point in your sign, Aquarius. You will really be feeling this because Mars will be opposing your energy and the new moon is squaring your energy. What does this mean when we get a square? It means that we are pushed into action. Often it's a push because as humans, we like comfort, right? Aquarius, we like to be in our comfort zone. So during a new moon with a square, we feel an inner pressure or tension, and the only way that we can soften that energy is to take some sort of action. And sometimes that action is we become aware of fears that we have and we process those fears. We go inward, we reflect, we do tapping, my favorite thing to do with what I call dark fears. Pluto often brings up what I call dark fear. And it's dark because it comes from the unconscious. We didn't know it was there. And so it feels scarier than other fears. But once we process it, it takes the charge, that emotional charge, it calms down or it goes away. And we realize it was false evidence appearing real, that fear, right? So sometimes fear has a point, and sometimes fear is just a way has a way of getting our attention so that we can process something. But Aquarius, what's most important is that what is my question for you is what's going on for you with home or family? Is there a relationship with a family member that you want to heal or that needs some sort of reconciliation or resolution? Or maybe your home situation, maybe you want to move, maybe you want to remodel your home or change your home in some way. Maybe it's time to do some work, inner child work, as I call it. I do have a video for you on emotional, I call it reparenting yourself, inner child healing. That is always linked in the description box below. It could be too that you are searching for the right area in which to live. That could be true for you as well. If Pluto is right now aspecting one of your planets or points, that's not easy. I also have a video on hard Pluto transits that might be helpful for you as well. And that's also linked in the description box below. Aquarius, this is the new moon to get clear on what your heart wants in terms of your home or your family, and also anything that you want to heal that came from childhood conditioning or from past lives. Your ancestral line, perhaps. Aquarius, let us see what the cards have to say for you. Some of you could just be totally pulled forward by passion. As I speak about in part 1 of this video, Mars, Pluto opposing each other can be lots of energy pulling you forward to do something passionate. Maybe you know where you want to live. Maybe you know that it's time to change your home. Maybe you're finally ready to sell a house that you've been holding on to, and you're ready to do something that is way out of your comfort zone, but the divine is supporting you and it feels right. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Aquarius. Aquarius, your card is interesting. Lay of the land, ancestral wisdom. Wow, wow, wow. I'm getting the chills right now. Why? Because ancestral wisdom, ancestry is the 4th house. And this is where you're having this new moon. And look at all the red. This is root chakra energy. The 4th house is root chakra. Wow. Check it out, Aquarius. This person is at the top of this mountain. They made it. Here's a full moon that's burning. This is so much fire in this card. It's like so much water, but so much fire. At least this seems to be fire water to me, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's this is you know, this is earth. But at any rate, this person is on the top of this mountain. They've made it. They've come so far. How far you've come, this card is acknowledging. How far you've come in your soul growth. It's saying that you can now have a better perspective, a transcendent perspective of what you've overcome, how far what you've navigated, your soul growth, that you've done it. And this is acknowledging you. And it's saying the wisdom that you've gained from going through some hard things, or maybe something hard you're going through right now, Aquarius. It could be that as well. The wisdom that you have gained is putting you in a new place in your mind. It's putting you in a new place, and it's opening you up to new possibilities, to new gifts, to new blessings. 34 reduces to a 7. This new moon is happening at 7 degrees. The 7 is the divine. 7 is divine oneness, forgiveness, compassion. Those themes could resonate for you as well. It may be time to give yourself compassion, to give another forgiveness, to open up to divine help or guidance. If anything I shared, beautiful Aquarius, resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you are going to experience this new moon in Taurus, which makes a trine to your energy, and trines are the wind at your back. They're ease and flow. They are the most harmonious aspect that you can receive. You are getting a trine from this new moon in Taurus to your energy, Capricorn, in the 5th house of true love and romance, children, creativity. It's the house of inner child delight. It's the house of your divine muse. It is a lovely, lovely house in which to experience a new moon. This new moon wants to light you up with passion, is what I'm feeling this new moon, especially because Mars and Pluto are involved. There is, and you're getting a trine, so that's just so harmonious. I feel that there's an ease here. Now, you could, as I spoke about in part 1 of this video, any of us, regardless of how this new moon is affecting our own chart, we could still get swept up in something Mars-Pluto-ish that is happening collectively, right? Or is happening in our neighborhood. That could happen. But you, if that happens, you may be someone that is helping others. That's possible too. Or you may be feeling your strength and your resilience that you have been honing as a result of the other Mars-Pluto oppositions that we have already had, because this is the 3rd and final Mars-Pluto opposition. And we have, as I speak about in part 1 of the video, we have been honing our muscles in this area. We've been getting stronger. Pluto strengthens us on an evolutionary soul growth level. But this new moon is saying, what do you want in this area of your life? Some of you may want to have children or spend more time with children. Others of you may be ready for a romance and you're planting seeds for that. Others of you may be just wanting to have more joy in your life, more inspiration, to flex your creativity more, to spend more time doing things that you love just because you love them. There's a message coming in as I say that, of that, you know, so often we create only to make money. We create only because we think that's what we're supposed to be doing. And Capricorn, you tend to be very focused on work. That's kind of a signature of your energy and your sign. I know that's not true for all of you, but Capricorns always feel, generally, again, these are all generalizations, feel very on purpose. There's purpose is a Capricorn word, on purpose, and like you're doing what you were meant to be doing by, you know, making money, doing something that you consider purposeful. But a 5th house new moon is saying, is it feeding you? Is it feeding you on a soul level? Are you in integrity? That's a Pluto word. Pluto's involved. Are you in integrity with your soul, with whatever you're doing? Are you feeling inspired? Are you letting yourself feel inspired? Okay, Capricorn, let's see what the cards have to say for you. For your lovely trining new moon in Taurus, your card is Herald of Change, the Horseman. When I see this card, I see freedom. I see excitement. I see taking a risk. Look at all the light surrounding this person on the horse. Look at how they're willing to, you know, the horse is kind of wild. They're willing to let their wild self out. They are willing to do something different maybe than they've done it before. It's a 30. 3 is creativity. 0 amplifies the creativity. 3 is also the writer's number, designer's number, the artist's number. The blue light on either side of this white, expression, creative expression, throat chakra. So much fire here, so much fire. Mars in fire, Mars in Leo. Saying it's time to go. It's time to let that spark move you physically. What are you doing physically, Capricorn, to move your energy, to say yes to your heart? What would feel good in your body even? Are you in movement? This card is saying it's time to be in movement. There's a herald of change. Let it be exciting. Beautiful Capricorn, if anything I shared resonates, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sag, you are going to be experiencing this Taurus new moon in your 6th house of health, daily habits, routines, both the routines that you do in your personal life and in your work life. The 6th house is about your well-being on all levels. With a new moon in your 6th house, Sag, your focus is likely on work or just does my daily life feel? Am I getting out enough? Am I getting enough sunshine? Am I, moving my body? What am I doing? Is what I'm doing, is my work life healthy for me? A lot of times when we have a 6th house transit and Mars and Pluto are involved, this new moon is squaring Mars and Pluto. A lot of times that can mean that something at work or in our daily life is toxic on some level. It's not going to be true for everyone, but if that resonates, this new moon is really going to put you in a position where you have to make some sort of choice about that if you want to relieve the pressure or pain or stress. Or it could be about passion. It could be about saying yes to passion that maybe feels a little scary. Maybe it feels like it's a big risk. Maybe dark fears, Pluto, will come up around it for you to process. That could be true as well. Sag, what do you want? Do you want a new job? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to change something in your health? Do you want to strengthen your body? Do you want to change your mental wellness? The way you're thinking, perhaps, will be different for all of you. Let us see what the cards have to say. Sag, let us see what the cards have to say for you, for your new moon in Taurus. Ooh, this is a great card. Luck and right timing, the fortune's wheel. Taurus energy is representative of material security. It's representative of the good life, whatever that is for you. It's representative of success. In Taurus energy, we want to maintain our financial or other resources. And this card is saying you have something coming to you that's going to feel like luck and right timing. The wheel of fortune is turning for you in the right direction. It's a 23. 23 reduces to a 5. 5 is adventure. 5 is freedom. Do you want more fun or freedom or adventure in your life, Sag? You are all about freedom and adventure. That's your sign. What are you ready for? What would make you feel like the Wheel of Fortune was aligning with you and bringing you? What blessings do you want to claim? Claim them in the comments below. If you'd like to share, beautiful Sag, I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are going to be experiencing this new moon in Taurus in your 7th house of partnerships. It's an opposition for you. What are oppositions? We feel them in our relationships. It's you in your 1st house with the the Taurus energy opposite you in the 7th house. Taurus energy is always opposite you. That's the opposition that happens in your natal chart, Scorpio. But because the new moon is over there in your 7th house, it's saying, what seeds do you want to plant for committed partnership, whether it's business, professional, personal? You know, it can be close friendships, it can be a significant other, it can be a lover, it can be romantic, it can be just feeling like there's someone in your life that is like a soulmate, that has your back. They don't have to be, you know, the person that you sleep with, so to speak. They can be somebody that is just like, you know, a lot of people just have a close friend, someone they can count on. So it's different for all of you. But this is what is likely up for you during this new moon. And because Mars in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius, and they are both squaring the Taurus energy, they're squaring your Scorpio energy too, Scorpio. Because of this, you could feel like you have to reconcile something in your life in a relationship. That won't be all of you, but some of you, again, especially if you have planets or points very close to this new moon, which is at 7 to 8 degrees, you could feel like you are sort of, you're having one of those moments of reckoning where you have to decide something. You could be at a choice point. You could be at a crossroads. You could be like, okay, I see the writing on the wall. Any of those things. How can we best deal with a Pluto transit like this, a Mars-Pluto transit? I speak about that in the first part of this video. I give you tips and so forth. So Scorpio, let us see what the cards have to say. This is you deciding what is your vision for partnership, and do your current relationships match that? And if not, are you ready to go on the road to bringing in, calling in, attracting, manifesting relationships that are more in alignment with your energy? Can be quite empowering. It can be quite passionate. Doesn't have to be painful. Or it could be both. Ooh, Scorpio, the joyful muse. This card is saying, get into your playful self. Feed your inner child. Have fun. Break the ice with joy. Get in, you know, that whenever I hear music and it really captures my heart, I'm like, yes, like how would we even have a life without music? Music, why don't we as humans, why don't we, and I know a lot of you do this, a lot of you, you know, have music playing a lot of you sing, a lot of you know, I sing because it makes my heart happy. It makes my heart happy. We were meant to flow with music. Music gets us out of our intellectual mind. It gets us out of the part of our brain that gets fixates on fixing our life rather than being in the flow of life. Music puts us back in the flow of life. Music inspires us. I could go on and on. Anyway, you see what this card is prompting you to, especially with this cat that has these like crazy eyes, right? Sometimes we have to get a little crazy. There's a Seal song about I think it's called Crazy or something. It has the word crazy in it. And I love that song because it's like sometimes we have to get a little crazy to just feel like we can stay here on this planet and not go crazy. Beautiful Scorpio, if what I'm sharing with you resonates, and also all the green, the heart chakra. Let the joyful muse inspire you. Call on the joyful muse to come into your life and shake things up in a good way. Beautiful Scorpio, if anything I shared resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Libra, hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you are going to experience this full moon, this new moon in Taurus, in your house of power, the house of power and control, the 8th house. This is the house of emotional attachments. It's all the things that we have primal needs around, which includes emotional and sexual intimacy. It includes taxes, loans, and debts. It includes shared resources with other people, including money, our investments, all the things that make us feel more safe and secure. The 8th house is where we can have windfalls. We can have amazing gifts and blessings come in the 8th house, or we can be dividing assets with somebody else and we can feel like there's a death happening. The 8th house is death and rebirth, transformation. We transform through 8th house matters because they are so primal. We do get attached to these things that I just listed. These are the themes for this new moon for you. And why do we say it's the house of power? Because we want to feel like we're in control of these areas of our life, right? Money, romance, shared things. You know, you hear people say sometimes, I don't want to get married because I don't want to lose half my stuff. That's the 8th house. That's the 8th house. Now, what else do I want to say to you, beautiful Libra, about this moon in Taurus? Taurus is ruled by Venus. You're ruled by Venus. There's a simpatico between your two signs because of this. Does that mean it's an easier new moon for you? No, not necessarily. It's not what we call a harmonious aspect, but it is knowing. There's a mutual knowingness that Venus is guiding you both and that Venus is quite important to both of you during this time. Both energies, I should say, yours and Taurus, where the new moon is. So it's a new moon, so it's about setting intentions. And that means you may be wanting to make some sort of change with a partner. Because Mars in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius are opposing each other, and because the new moon is squaring them, you could feel that you're having a power struggle with someone, or that you're having a moment of feeling powerless, or that you are concerned about your finances or your investments, or that there's something going on in a relationship that you need to clear or heal or make a decision about. Any of those things. Or you could just be focused on, I want to build wealth. I want to buy a house. I want to pay off a loan. I want to, get closer to somebody in my life. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Libra. Libra. Your card is Skywriting the Fates. What happens for you during this new moon may feel fated. You are being invited to write out your vision, to script what you want to happen, to get clear on what you truly desire, and don't leave it to someone else to decide. The fates are involved, so there is a fated aspect to this new moon for you, but that doesn't mean that you are meant to just leave it up to the fates. You're being asked to steer the boat in the direction that you want it to go, and to work with your guides, the purple, and to not let any smoke and mirrors, smoke screens, any of that sway you. To be very honest with yourself and to see through anything that seems deceptive. Those are all the things that are coming through for me to tell you, beautiful Libra. If anything that I shared, we just had the full moon in your sign. So something that could have happened during that full moon could be precipitating what you want, what your direction is going forward. If anything I shared with you resonates and you would like to share, leave me a comment. I would love to hear. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are going to experience your new moon in Taurus in your 9th house of expansion. I love this for you. You get a trine from the energy. A trine is the wind at your back. The trine is very supportive. Trine energy often feels like something falls into our lap or something just happens with ease. It's a no-brainer. There are no glitches. There are no stresses. It just happens really in a lovely way. This house is the house that wants you to expand your thinking, your horizons. It's a house of adventures and freedoms and long distance travel, spiritual belief systems. It's the house of higher learning. You could start a learning program during this new moon. You could really be thinking or feeling a desire for a quest, for a spiritual quest. You could be saying goodbye to a religion or a belief system that doesn't fit you or your life any longer. You could be deciding to travel long distance. You could be deciding to move to another country. You could be applying for a visa or doing some paperwork so that that would facilitate that. You could be planting seeds for something that is going to expand you. If it's not any of the things I just said, maybe it's something else for you. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's starting an import business. Maybe it's doing something that feels very, in some way, you could be learning a new language. You could be meeting somebody that is from another culture. But there's some part of you that is ready for new scenery, that's ready to expand. And we can do that in so many different ways. It can be metaphorical new scenery, or it could be actual travel that takes you to a new place, or you could do it in a visualization. I do have several meditations on my YouTube channel, and you can download one for free from my website as well that you can listen to over and over without getting onto YouTube. That's for free when you sign up to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates, where I write about the astrology between videos. Virgo, in what way do you want to expand? In what way are you ready? You know, some of you could be starting a PhD or a master's program or something like that too, or some sort of program, metaphysical certification program. Anything that is what is calling to you. This is really the house of callings. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Virgo. And some of you are shedding a skin because Mars and Pluto are opposing. You're shedding a skin before you can fully claim and step into the new thing that you want to manifest. Your card is Wandering Between Realms, Straddling Worlds. I am not surprised. Why am I not surprised? Because Virgo, the South Node is in your sign right now. The North Node is in Pisces. The North Node is opposite you. And we have several planets in Pisces right now, Venus, Saturn, and the North Node of Destiny, which is a point. But if you are getting opposed by Saturn, for example, if you are getting opposed, if your energy is getting opposed by Venus, the North Node is opposing any of your Virgo energies right now, depends on the planets and points, the degrees. I did the planets and points in your chart. Something I can look into for you in an astrology consultation. If any of that is going on for you right now, you could feel like I'm between worlds. I have one foot in the ethereal realms, one foot in this world. You could feel very overwhelmed. You could feel like life has been difficult. You could feel stressed in some way. You could feel exhausted. Just know that all of these Pisces energies, you know, the North Node will be in Pisces for a total of 18 months. So that's not going away anytime soon, but Saturn will move into Aries, and then it will move into Aries next year permanently. It's going to move there temporarily the end of May. Venus is going to move on very soon back into Aries and continue. So there will be a letting up of the Pisces energy that could make you feel more grounded in this world. And this is a time, there's nothing wrong with straddling the worlds either, right? It can be discombobulating. It can feel like what's real. You could feel like you're floating in space. You could feel like there is no time and space. And technically there isn't, right? Spiritually speaking. But grounding is really helpful for all of us, but especially for you, Virgo, being an earth sign. Ground your energy. What's coming through is automatic writing, writing to the divine, writing to spirit. I talk about doing how I do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. Writing about the experiences that you're having, the experiences of feeling like you're between worlds. If you're feeling that way, that can really help ground the energy, and that can help you feel more quote unquote normalized as you're going through and entering a new normal. Beautiful Virgo. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments, let me know. I would love to hear. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, are you roaring your mighty roar? I'm asking you this because Mars is in your sign now, and during this new moon, it's going to be opposing Pluto. Yes, this has happened before in early January. What happened for you then? You might want to look back to that time, watch for the first part of this video where I go into all of that at much more length. But Leo, you're going to experience this new moon in your 10th house of career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement, or life purpose expressed. This is an important area of your chart. It's an angle of your chart. The fixed signs will feel this new moon most intensely, most personally. You will as well with Mars in your sign. Anything toxic in your life, this is going to be a big push to let it go. Anything that is not in alignment with your vibration, anything that is what we would call a dependency that you know it's time to walk away from, this could be a job for you. This could be a home situation. You could be having a real challenge balancing home and work right now. You could feel burnt out. You could feel like you've had a last straw with your work, with a boss, with the work that you do. You could feel like there's not enough meaning in it anymore for you. A lot of people feel that way on the spiritual path. A lot of things that could be going on for you, but most likely you are feeling it in these areas, or you could be feeling it in a partnership, or you could be feeling it in your own identity in the sense of, I need a new identity, I need to change roles, I'm ready to walk away from this, that, or the other thing. And that could be a person too, whether at home or in your work life or in your love life. So beautiful Leo, what are you ready to say yes to? That is the question. What would be in alignment with you? What is what your heart wants? Let's see what the cards have to say for you, because this new moon is really asking you to claim that. Let go of the old, let go of the toxic, claim what your heart most wants. Leo, and the good news having Mars in your sign is that it gives you that much more fortitude, that much more strength, that much more ability to advocate for yourself. Leos don't usually have trouble advocating for themselves, but it gives you that much more fire burning underneath you to take the steps you need to take to have your own back. Okay, Leo. Your card is the courage to step into life. Leo, that's you. The courage, that's you. Perfect storm. You are getting exactly what you need to harness the courage to step into life. The eagle, the ability to fly above any storm and see it from a higher perspective. All of the green heart chakra energy. The lightning tells me that something may happen that feels shocking to you. That's Pluto. Pluto's involved. Pluto's opposing your energy. You could feel some sort of a shock, or you could feel like that's already happened to you because it did happen in January in your sign. You could now be applying what you learned with a stronger sense of you, a stronger sense of what you know is right. Boundaries coming more easily this time. That could be true as well. But this is saying, remember, this is a perfect storm. Perfect how? It's giving you the courage to step into life, the life that is truly in alignment with you and who you're meant to be, what you're meant to do, what you're meant to express. Beautiful Leo, if anything I shared resonates, leave me a comment. Let me know. I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have Cancer rising and Cancer moon. And those of us who are Cancer risings will feel this new moon in Taurus in our 11th house. What is the 11th house? The 11th house, big picture, is your allies. You're getting a sextile from this new moon, which means it is an opportunity or a solution or something that's workable, a workaround, a way to solve a problem. It's solvable, in other words, and it's easily solvable. You see, my favorite example, I know a lot of you have heard this before, but it's my favorite example. When you're on a plane, you're in a middle seat, and the other people have their elbows on your seat handles, and you're like, no, I can't be stuck here. I can't be stuck here for this whole flight. And then you see that there's an empty row. You ask the flight attendant, they say, go ahead, sit there, and everything is solved. But you had to look for a solution, right? You had to look for a way out. That's what we have to do with the sextile. Something often happens, and we do have to look for, how am I going to solve this? But once we do, the solution comes forward. Now, it's not just the house of fulfillment and the current dream of your life and support. It's all those things. It's also social media. It's also branding and marketing and promoting what you do. It's, I know not all of you do that, but if you do, that's this house. It's if you have any sort of audience or following, that's the 11th house. Online dating, the world in the tarot is the 11th house. It's really the house of the world is your oyster. What do you want next? So that's pretty cool. And long-term financial gains as well. It's a lovely, lovely place to have a new moon. And it is asking us to be sure that we feel supported and to reach out for support. If we don't feel supported, to open up to receive that support. So beautiful Cancer, let me shuffle for you now. And as I said at the beginning of this video, this is a new manifestational cycle. So this is the time to set those intentions, plant those seeds, and to really get clear on what your heart wants. And if you have any sort of community that doesn't feel in alignment for you, that feels somewhat toxic, or anything you're dependent on that isn't feeding you, that isn't healthy for you, this new moon is saying we've got to let that go. Okay. Cancer. Your card is the Unmarked Trail, Revelation. Many of you will get a revelation. So much green in this card. I love the green because to me, this is heart chakra. This is healing. This is getting out into nature, returning to the simple pleasures of life, stacking rocks, breathing, looking at the ocean, or just being in any environment in which you feel serene. This is a call to the serene. And it's saying, yes, the trail that you are headed on or are on is an unmarked trail. That does make it more challenging at times. But a revelation is coming to you that's going to help you to navigate this unmarked trail, beautiful Cancer. And if you would like to claim that you are receiving the information, the revelation, the epiphany, whatever it is that you need to receive to move forward in alignment with your path, if you want to claim that you are receiving a truth, a blessing, anything you would like to receive, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Gemini, hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, you are going to experience, and I have my natal sun in Gemini. Gemini, you are going to experience this new moon in Taurus in your 12th house of rest, retreat, your inner mystic, the ethereal realms. The 12th house is where we can have amazing spiritual openings, epiphanies, divine downloads, where we can have intense dreams. We can get messages in our dreams. We can have angel visitations. The 12th house often gets a bad rap, but the 12th house is where, yes, we can self-sabotage, no question. It is the house of the subconscious mind. It is often where we are ripe for a new narrative, for rewriting the story, where we can harbor things against ourselves and against others that can have a loop of negativity going. But at the same time, the 12th house can be a magical place. And Gemini, I know that you are the magician. You are the archetype of the magician. You are an alchemist. You can turn dross into gold. You have one foot in each world. You have one foot in the ethereal realms, one foot in this realm. You are the divine messenger. Gem, beautiful gem. You can create anything when you put your mind to it. In other words, when your mind is flowing, the energy that is supportive and in alignment with the frequency of what you most want, you can make magic happen. So Gemini, during this new moon, you may have a real revelation or epiphany or something come through that I'm just getting this like very strong, palpable feeling in the back of my heart right now. It feels like that feeling of chills. Some of you are going to have a real aha moment during this new moon. Others of you, it is time to up your game, so to speak, of manifesting, up your game of co-creation, to know that to become aware in every cell of your body and every bone that you are the co-creator of your life. And maybe more well put would be that you can do it, that you have the power. Because after all, a big part of this new moon is realizing what we have power over and what we don't. Pluto. Mars, Pluto, where we can put our passion to work in creating what our heart most wants. So also the 12th house is karmic connections. So you could have a karmic fated moment, meeting with somebody, something that happens that feels meant to be. That could happen as well around this new moon time. Gemini, what do you want to manifest during this new moon? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I would love to hear. This is a time to really be tuned into your own inner mystic, and you could feel like you're on a spiritual quest right now. You could just want to be at home in your own energy. You could just want to be in meditation. You could just want to flow your energy in reflection. That would be very natural during a new moon in your 12th house. You could just want to close all the doors and draw the blinds and just go inside. Give yourself permission if that's how you're feeling, because that's where we receive the treasures that are underneath the surface of our conscious awareness. Beautiful Gemini, let's see what the cards have to say for you. The Wall, obstacles. Obstacles are clearing for you. Look at this card, how ethereal it is. It is very 12th house. It's 56. 56 reduces to 11. 11 is a spiritual master number. You are going through some self-mastery right now, Gemini. Do you feel that? Do you feel like you've hit a wall? Do you feel like there's something that you need to clear? When I look at this card, I see people and I see divine light trying to come through. To me, there's a lot of throat chakra energy, but there's also the purple, which is divine energy. It's 12th house energy. And I feel like this card, I feel like you could have had so many different past lives, and they could all be, the 12th house is where we often experience sort of the residue of past lifetimes. When I see this image, I feel like you've had so many different past lives. You have gone through so much. You have cleared a lot out of the way, but you could still feel like there's an invisible wall that's keeping you from what your heart most wants. You could still feel like there are a lot of different voices. We all have voices in our head. You could feel like there are too many negative voices, or there is a strong negative voice in your head. You could feel like you are not in control of what you want, or that you haven't been able to create what you most wanted, and that there's something in the way, the wall. Obstacles. This card to me is saying, tune into, get help from the divine. Tap into your divine power. Ask for help if you feel like there's an obstacle. If you feel like there's something in your way, ask, bring down the unconditional love of the divine, have it stream through your crown. Let it come through. Let it dissolve any obstacle that's in the way. Claim your power. This new moon is about power, Pluto. Claim your power to dissolve any obstacles on an energetic level, 12th house energetic level. On an energetic level, to clear any obstacles. Claim it. That's coming through so strongly for me, Gem. Claim it. I won't have it any other way. I'm claiming that power. It's done. It is done. It is done. Beautiful Gemini, if you resonate with what I just shared, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for the Taurus new moon video. This is going to be a very empowering new moon when we take back our power, when we set a boundary, when we honor ourselves, when we are self-respecting, when we say yes to our passion and we let that passion pull us forward. This is going to be a new moon that we are not going to forget, many of us. Thank you for liking this video, for giving it a thumbs up. Thank you for leaving me a comment. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. When you subscribe, you ignite the algorithm that puts this video out to more people who love astrology, and in so doing, you support the channel, allowing me to do more videos like this for you, and I am incredibly grateful for your support. If you would like to do an astrology consultation with me or a coaching session, go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working with me in an astrology consultation. We can do a natal chart reading, we can do a heart's desire, life purpose, relationship harmony. Go to my website, see what I am offering, and you should get a sense of what would be a great match for you. and it will be my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. Thank you to my Sunday chat friends for joining us. I so appreciate your presence. Thank you for whenever you are watching this video. And let us know how you're feeling about this Taurus new moon energy. I would absolutely love to hear. I have a free gift for you. That free gift is a soothing guided meditation. I think many of you may really appreciate that during a new moon like this. Go to my website, subscribe for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will get that free instant download right away. My beautiful friend, I am so glad that you are part of this like-minded community. None of us is doing this alone. We are all in this together. You are well supported. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.